Everyone in the auditorium thought the situation was simple. A student causing a scene, someone who didn't belong at the graduation ceremony. But no one knew the truth about this woman. What started as an overzealous security attempt quickly turned into a jaw-dropping moment that no one in attendance would forget. It was the day of the university's spring graduation ceremony. Hundreds of families filled the auditorium, proud faces everywhere. The air was buzzing with excitement, the smell of flowers and fresh programs filling the room. Among the attendees was a young woman named Gabrielle Harris. Gabrielle was quiet, soft-spoken, and completely focused on celebrating her younger brother, who was graduating with honors. She had spent weeks preparing for the day, dressing carefully in a smart outfit and carrying a small camera to capture memories. Security personnel were stationed near the entrances, scanning tickets and checking for any unauthorized visitors. One particular guard, a tall man named Carl, had a reputation for being strict, sometimes too strict. He was scanning the crowd when Gabrielle walked past him, carefully showing her ticket. "Excuse me, miss," Carl said abruptly, blocking her path. "You need to come with me. You're not supposed to be here." Gabrielle froze. "What? I have a ticket. I'm here to watch my brother graduate. I've been assigned a seat in Section B." Carl waved dismissively. "I don't care. I need you to step aside. Security has orders to remove anyone who looks suspicious." Gabrielle tried to explain, showing her ticket again. "Look, I've already checked in. I'm allowed to be here. Please, just let me go to my seat." Carl, however, was unyielding. "Step aside, now." A small crowd began to notice the commotion. Gabrielle's calm demeanor and polite words contrasted sharply with Carl's firm insistence. Parents and students watched, whispering to each other, wondering why this woman was being singled out. It was then that Gabrielle decided to stay calm and assert herself. "I am not causing trouble. I am following the rules. If you have an issue, call your supervisor. I will not leave without proper authority." Carl scoffed, muttering under his breath, and moved to physically guide her toward the exit. Gabrielle resisted just enough to make her stance clear, but she didn't shout or escalate. The tension in the room was palpable. People started pulling out their phones, quietly recording the situation. Suddenly, the auditorium doors opened at the back. 4 men in casual civilian clothing walked in, but there was something about their posture and presence that made heads turn. They weren't ordinary attendees. They were Gabrielle's colleagues from a special operations unit, and she had just returned from a brief military assignment herself, having trained extensively with them in a secretive program. One of the men, tall and broad-shouldered, stepped forward. "Excuse me, officer. There seems to be a misunderstanding." Carl turned, startled, and looked at the men suspiciously. "Who are you?" "We're here with Gabrielle," another said, calmly but firmly. "She's a guest, authorized to attend this ceremony. If you need confirmation, we have the necessary credentials." Carl hesitated, taken aback by their confident demeanor. Gabrielle's calm composure, combined with the unmistakable authority in their presence, made it clear that this was not an ordinary dispute. One of the men leaned slightly toward Carl. "You are free to check our identification, or, if you prefer, we can resolve this quietly, without any further delay." The threat was implied, without being aggressive. Security guards nearby glanced nervously at each other. They could sense the gravity of the situation. They were no longer dealing with a simple student. Gabrielle finally spoke, her voice steady and firm. "I am here for my brother's graduation. I have a ticket and a seat assigned. I do not need to be removed. Please allow me to attend the ceremony without further delay." Carl looked around. The audience had grown larger as whispers spread. Everyone could see that Gabrielle wasn't alone. The presence of the 4 men, who many might assume were Navy SEALs or some type of special forces based on their build, confidence, and coordination, was intimidating without them even raising their voices. After a tense moment, Carl raised his hands slightly. Fine, you may go. Just be careful. I don't want any trouble." Gabrielle smiled politely, maintaining her composure. "Thank you. I appreciate your understanding." She walked past Carl and into the seating area, flanked subtly by the four men, who made sure the path was clear. The audience, still murmuring in shock, watched her take her seat. Some whispered among themselves about how overzealous security had nearly caused a scene, while others were in awe of the calm and commanding way Gabrielle handled the situation. The ceremony proceeded without further incident, but Gabrielle's story quickly spread throughout the university. Students and families began sharing videos of the moment on social media. The clip of her calmly standing her ground while security attempted to remove her went viral, with thousands commenting on her courage and composure. After the ceremony, Gabrielle's brother found her, relieved and excited. "I can't believe that just happened," he exclaimed. Everyone was talking about it. Gabrielle laughed softly, putting a hand on his shoulder. "It's okay. I knew what to do. Stay calm, show confidence, and never let someone intimidate you. That's how you handle situations like this." Later, the university administration reviewed the incident. Carl and the security team received training on how to handle such situations more appropriately. They were reminded that assumptions based on appearance or demeanor could lead to embarrassing and avoidable confrontations. Gabrielle herself met with the administration, calmly explaining what had happened and emphasizing that the situation could have been handled with a simple verification of credentials. The four men who had intervened quietly left after the ceremony, knowing their role had been to ensure Gabrielle's safety and maintain order. They did not seek attention, but their presence had been enough to ensure the situation did not escalate further. What stood out most was Gabrielle's combination of calm intelligence and subtle authority. She didn't shout, threaten, or escalate. She relied on her presence, experience, and the implicit support of highly trained colleagues to resolve the situation. In the end, the outcome was peaceful, legal, and undeniably satisfying. Over the next few days, Gabrielle's story inspired others. Students shared her approach as an example of how to stand firm, maintain dignity, and use knowledge and preparedness to handle difficult situations. The security team adopted new policies to verify credentials before taking action, ensuring that similar misunderstandings would not happen again. By the end of the week, Gabrielle had returned home, reflecting on the experience. It had been tense and stressful, but it reinforced an important lesson. Courage isn't about confrontation. It's about being calm, composed, and prepared, and knowing when to rely on the right resources to protect yourself. The graduation ceremony became more than a celebration of academic achievement. It was a story of resilience, composure, and subtle power. A reminder that even when authority seems absolute, preparation and confidence can turn the tide in your favor. For Gabrielle, the incident was over, but the lesson remained. She had proven to everyone present that assumptions based on appearances could be challenged, that calm resolve could diffuse tension, and that standing up for oneself doesn't require aggression, just confidence, planning, and the right support. And for the audience that day, they witnessed something unforgettable. A quiet woman, nearly removed from a momentous occasion by overzealous security, reclaiming her space and dignity with a quiet power that left everyone stunned, especially when 4 Navy SEALs silently reinforced her presence without a single word. In the end, the story wasn't just about a graduation ceremony. It was about the respect that comes with preparedness, the authority of composure, and the undeniable impact of standing firm in the face of intimidation. Gabrielle walked out of that auditorium with her dignity intact, her brother proud, and a lesson that would be remembered by everyone who witnessed it.